Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie and
I'm her husband, Glenn.
That's my husband, Glenn. And it's us again. And we're here to review episode
11
of Married at First Sight season 9.
Wow, man, it was a good episode tonight. It had some ups and downs, some emotional moments from a lot of the couples. We saw some of the couples become real vulnerable and different emotions, different things. You know, I really want to start with Elizabeth and Jamie in this episode. I want to start with them. I know we usually keep them towards the end because they always have a lot of excitement. Mm-hmm. But I do want to start with them on this episode because I thought it was interesting because she went to different dynamics in this show. You went from the angry Elizabeth to the emotional Elizabeth, back to the angry Elizabeth. Even when they met Dr. Vivian, they had some different emotions there. But let's start off with the couples going on a excursion or going on a trip together, an outing. We've seen this earlier in the episode where they did it, while they was on a honeymoon, they played volleyball, and we saw them meet up later in later episodes. So now they had the NASCAR experience.
The NASCAR experience. Yeah.
Iris and Keith wasn't there because they was off doing something, had another engagement or obligation. They couldn't make it. And so you had Jamie and Elizabeth, you had Deonna and Greg, and you had Amber and Matt that went on to the NASCAR experience. And before they could even get started, fireworks went off.
Well, you know, first Elizabeth was like, you know, I think I could give the tour. I could tell everybody about this. And so then they're in line trying to get instructions, and she is steady running her mouth.
She's rude. She is rude. The dude is giving instructions. I don't care how many times you've been there or you've been to the NASCAR place. He gets paid to give instructions.
Right, and you should close your mouth, which would have been nicer if Jamie had said it. Maybe he shouldn't have said that either, but like she's running her mouth and Jamie's like, would you please just shut up?
But the biggest problem is, but he didn't have to yell that in front of everybody if they were standing next to each other. Because she was on one side of the group. You had her on one side. You had Deonna and Greg in the middle. Then you had Amber and Matt. And then you had Jamie totally on the other side. If he would have been next to her and she was talking, he could have did that sweet thing nudge like, baby, let me explain.
Yeah.
You know, let him explain instead of having to yell across the whole group. Right. Shut up and let him talk.
I think it really just gives a picture of what their relationship is, because everybody else was coupled up. They were standing next to their spouse, and here they are on opposite ends of the group. Yeah. And she's all like, he's like, would you shut up? Like I told my husband, I said, Elizabeth, knowing Elizabeth, I feel like if he had been like, hey, keep it down, dude's trying to talk, I think she still probably would have went off. Maybe not as much, but she'd have still been like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And I'm not saying I agree with him telling her to shut up, because she did need to be quiet, but he just didn't need to say it like that. Like, it wasn't nice at all.
It was rude, and you could see everyone else's face.
Deonna and Matt were like, you know.
Wow, Matt doubled over.
How can you talk to your wife like that in front of us? But they both were like, hey, that's their marriage, ain't none of our business. But good gosh.
But then Elizabeth's like, that's how he talks to me at home. And that's
I was like, girl, why? I mean, it's true. But like, why she had to throw him? She threw him straight out there. Well, you see how he talks to me regularly. This is what I have to put up with. Oh my God.
But look, I don't know what she expect. If she allowed him to do it at home, then he's going to do it when they're out.
Right.
If she never checked it when they was getting counseling from the experts or talking to him, I don't need you to talk to me like that in public. I don't need you to tell me shut up. That's unacceptable. And constantly, you can't expect him to change and turn it off and on in front of people.
And the funny thing is, she was upset later on in the episode. They're talking about it, which, you know, they go to her hometown. He gets to see a glimpse of where she grew up, which is not there anymore. It's just a pile of debris. Yeah. And like my husband said, you get to see the emotional side of her. I mean, she's crying as they pull up to it. And, you know, she's sharing, you know, we lived in a trailer and my parents worked hard to get us to where we are now. And you're going to take back how you said I was materialistic. And he said, I do. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that to her.
But that's what she came off because he didn't realize her humble beginnings.
Right.
And, you know, they had humble beginnings that she didn't have, what she, as she said, a silver spoon in her mouth. And that's how, you know, when you put these guys in this experiment or this thing, they really don't know everybody. They don't know each other. But that's the stuff you should be sharing. You know, I came from humble beginnings. I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth. My parents worked for everything that we had. We are moving up in the world and in this echelons. We did started from nothing. So I think he got to see a different side of her, which he really appreciated.
Right.
See that side.
But then here we go again. They shift gears again. And she's like, oh, we're going to have the couples retreat. They haven't seen me since I acted a donkey at the racetrack. And he was like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
You acted a donkey. And she's like, I don't regret it. How can you not regret it? And he went 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, all he had to
do, real quick.
He doesn't know how to diffuse situations. He don't know how to ignore stuff. As a man, there's some things you ignore. You hear, but you ignore.
But the funny thing is, Dr. Viv kind of talked to them about that, about tempering your words and how you talk to each other and you know, communicating a little bit better. And if she says, hey, I don't want to talk about this, can we approach this at a later time, you know, whatever, and she says in the car, okay, I don't want to talk about it, and he goes straight in.
Yeah, she said it several times.
He goes in.
And she stopped. I do give Elizabeth credit, she stopped, but he still went in. Again, when they don't listen to the experts. The experts tell him not to leave when you get mad, he decides to bounce. Experts tell you not to, you know, to be naked to each other or to reveal things to them. And then they go off on each other. They tell you to hold off and don't discuss everything then and there. And they don't listen. They want the expert to come because he welcomed Dr. Vivian. You know, Elizabeth didn't want it.
No,
she was in the room.
She said, B, I knows what I did.
I knows what I did. Are you calling me a B? No, you know, girl, like, you know, I meant girl. Anyway, she got that straight. That was funny. It was a funny moment. I love how they edited that as if there was going to be a big blow up afterwards.
Right.
But there was no blow up.
No.
But she has to realize, and they have to realize, and Jamie especially has to realize from a man's perspective, there's some things you hear and you don't have to address everything right then and there. There's some times you can say, you know what, all right, you know, you're right. You know, we do have to face the group, but I'm here with you. And we're going to face it together and we're not going to have that blow up anymore. Right.
But again, even when they get home and they're talking about it, you know, she's like, she be wilding when nobody stood up for me. And nobody, you know,
like she wanted.
Matt and Deonna said that's them. What were they going to say? Because obviously if he did it there, he's done it before. So how can I stick up for you?
Yeah. Because they was thinking the same thing. You're talking too much. We're trying to have a good experience. Let the guy talk. Yes, you can.
They want to tell her shut up too.
They did. But he took Jamie to charge, and they, you know, and he said it in a harsh way, and I don't agree with that. I would never tell you to shut up in public. Not like that. Or in private.
In public.
Or private.
In private.
Anyway.
Get it right.
Right. Yeah, right. Anyway.
He does tell me be quiet.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like, you know, like, no.
Not now.
But I think I do more telling him, you might not want to say that now, than he says to be.
Yeah, we compliment each other. You're there to help me out. Because sometimes I stick my foot in my mouth.
I help him.
Yeah, she helped me not to stick my foot in my mouth all the time. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the Iris and Keith. Iris and Keith. They went to a dance class.
Wow.
Iris and Keith went to a Caribbean dance class.
Yeah.
And they took Dr. Vivian's advice where they're getting closer together. We saw last week's episode ended with Keith licking Iris's thigh. And we saw them get to a little bit more intimate. And you know what? This was one of the really episodes her virginity really never came, you know, a lot to fruition.
Right.
So we didn't really talk a lot about the virginity on this episode.
Right.
But we did talk about some intimacy, and so they took him to a Caribbean dance class, and Iris got some moves.
But the teacher said in Caribbean dance, you know, most dance the men take the lead. In this case, the women take the lead, and that's kind of like telltale of their relationship. It's like. She has to let Keith know, yes, I'm comfortable. Yeah. Yes, you can go there. Yes, you can go there, like they did with the body paints, you know, before. And so she had her a good old what did Elizabeth call it? I don't know. They did some like dry humping.
Dry humping, and she was backing it up on Keith and dropping it down and backing up.
She dropped it like it's hot.
Keith was speechless. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah, he was like, whoa. Wow.
Yeah, he was like, wow, like whoa, you know. And she had a little sundress or whatever you want to call it, was spaghetti straps, and she was having a good old time. Kicked her shoes off, and one time Iris got caught up. She's like, "Ooh, my mama gonna see this."
Right, and I think she let go for most of the class. She did catch herself and was like, it was kind of awkward, I haven't known him that long, and then we're in this room and there's somebody else in the room, but I think all in all, she was free about it, and Keith was loving it. Keith was loving it.
And loving it. And that was a good exercise for them because she was able to let her hair down. That's one of the first few times we actually saw Iris let go. And I like this type of Iris where she's letting go. Doesn't necessarily mean she has to have sex on TV. Doesn't mean necessarily she has to show intimacy to her husband. At the end of the day, it's not about her having sex with Keith. It's about them having a connection that it could happen down the line. Whether it's happening after the 8 weeks, after they finish, or before the 8 weeks, she has to know that she can trust Keith, and Keith has to know that he can trust her with intimacy.
And with those intimacy, being more intimate, Dr. Viv told them to share a secret between each other. And Keith's in great anticipation of what Iris is going to say.
Like, I waited for this moment all day.
I don't think anybody knows this but my mom and the doctors. And I'm like, oh, what's she going to say? What's she going to say?
Well, one thing I knew she wasn't going to say. I knew she wasn't going to say she was pregnant before. I knew that. But it was something, I just wondered what she was going to say.
What's the secret going to be? And Keith's like, yeah, okay, what is it? Huh? And she says, one time I swallowed a quarter.
I put a change in my mouth and I swallowed a quarter. Not that I stole my parents' car. Not that I had a ride. I snuck out the house in the middle of the night and stayed out and snuck back in. Not that I stole candy from the store. Not that I took money out the offering plate. None of that stuff. But I put change in my mouth and swallowed it.
When we hit the bump, the quarter got stuck in my throat. And he's like,
okay.
Really?
Like, that's the only
really?
But to Iris' defense, that's maybe the only thing she's really done bad in her life.
Well,
I mean, in that sense that she considers a secret. Maybe she's an open book. She tells everything. Maybe there's nothing no one else knows, or she just got the wrong, she got the assignment wrong.
I think she got the assignment wrong. I'm like, it gotta be something else. It has to be something else. And Keith is like, okay,
good night.
Turn the light off.
he didn't even share his secret. I think he should have went first.
He was like, let me turn the light off. She swallowed a coin, like, what? And she felt accomplished. Like, I told him something that nobody else knew. And he was like,
I told him a secret. That I swallowed a coin. And it didn't get to the point where I swallowed it and I pooped it out. It got to, or I got stuck and, it had to come out this way, and my mom, it just like, it got stuck in there again, and she ended the story. But nonetheless, the assignment also was to go back to one of the couple's childhood home. And so Keith took Iris back to his childhood home. Where
they've been before. They went to visit when his grandmother was sick and when she passed.
And so this time Iris was able to observe and see everything, see his childhood pictures, his high school pictures, his trophies in his room, and stuff that he had showed to her before, and which was good. She really caught, this is the side of Keith that I didn't know about. He doesn't brag on himself, or he doesn't promote himself.
Right. He
cares about me. Right. And Keith had an interesting conversation with his mom, and she asked how everything was going. I love both of their parents.
Yeah.
Even though his mom had me kind of from the first episode when she told that she was a virgin, I thought that wasn't her place.
Right.
But she's grown on me, and so they had a good conversation. And comes up, do you like Iris or love Iris? I think that's what she asked.
She says, does Iris make you happy? She acknowledged that y'all are cramming a lot of years into a couple of weeks, and I don't envy you. I know it's difficult. And, how's everything going? But the question is, does she make you happy? And Keith is like, I don't know.
He said, I don't know. And I was kind of shocked he said, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know. You've been with this person 6 weeks at this time. Well, you know, if she makes you happy, she makes you sad. Do you argue? Do you fight? Not like she asked her, do you love her?
Right.
Does she make you happy?
Right.
Are you happy to be with her? Happy to be around her? He's saying all the right things he does. He said, I want to be with you 50 years, or we want to stay together forever, and I'm going to take this road down around be the marriage road. But he's starting to, I'm thinking this sexual thing is starting to weigh on him.
Well, I think this is where me and my husband disagreed, because he was like surprised and like, wow, why he was, but I was saying, I understand. It's like, it's only been these many weeks, and I mean, I don't know if she makes me happy in the way that my husband is saying. I think he was saying, okay, are you in love with her? You know, all of those, and that's when he was like, you know, I don't know if she makes me happy. Do I have a good time with her? Yeah. Do we have happy times together? Yeah, but I really do think he was thinking deeper than just, does she make you happy? It's like, does she make you happy? Like, are you falling in love with her? I think his mind went there. Like, I don't know.
I think he does love her. I think he does. But some of our subscribers don't think.
I think they have great care and concern for each other.
I think if you asked them today, Iris would say a definite yes, and Keith will have to probably wait.
That they're falling in love, or that they're in.
I think she's in love.
I think they both have love for each other. I'm gonna say that they have love for each other, but I don't know if I can't say if they're falling in love.
So would you be surprised if on decision day, which is a couple weeks away, that one of them would say no?
I still would be surprised.
Okay.
I would be surprised if one of them said no.
So I think they have a chemistry that's there that they can work, and it's much more than sexual. I think they're getting to that point with the intimacy stuff, but he needs her to grow up a little bit. She's kind of immature. Yeah,
because still, again, she showed that a little bit.
She showed her a little bit of her immaturity, but I think, I think she's getting there. And like Keith's mom said, you're cramming a lot into 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. And Matt said something that was key that could help Iris and Keith. We just have to have a relationship as if we wasn't married. Not saying that we're apart, but we're gonna have to act like we're not married, but we are married, and build a relationship up.
Right.
Which goes to Amber and Matt.
Yes.
Now, 8 days after Matt had an intervention by Dr. Cal, and I'm gonna call it an intervention.
Yeah.
They said things are going pretty well with Matt and Amber. So we see Matt and Amber. They meet with Dr. Vivian, and they're talking about Viviana, the things that they're going through right now. And they said they're not having any intercourse. They're not having any sex. And she was like, what?
I know she was.
She was surprised.
She was, but they were just saying, like, we don't want that to interfere with trying to grow emotionally and getting to know each other and communicating. We want to develop more in those other areas. And Matt said, I'm not saying that I don't want to. It's just I'm making a choice not to, so that we can grow in these other areas. And Amber was kind of like,
But she's taking him back, and he's doing and saying all the right things.
Yeah.
And so he's been home, he's been hanging out, he's been spending more time. Even the Dr. Cole said it. She said, David said, we noticed that you've been more time at home, that you're spending more time to the process, and you're trusting in the process, and so he's working on the relationship. I think he likes Amber, and I really do think he loves Amber, but I think he just don't know how to communicate that. And we saw that with his childhood. When he goes back to his childhood home, where his parents, when they got divorced, they sold the house or they lost the house. So he couldn't even go into the house where he was at, and he had to tell stories outside from the street, which goes back to Matt's life. He really never had a place that was a place that he called home, and that's not even there anymore. Mm-hmm. So look at all the places he would call home: the boarding school, the high school gyms over in Europe and over in South America, and now he doesn't even have a home. So that's a childhood home to go back to, and he remember him and his sister playing and him and his sister interacting, and all that is just a memory now, more so than just a situation. So it's all a memory.
Yeah, but it definitely gave her greater insight into who Matt is, and he got to be a little more vulnerable. He shared he was a chubby kid, and His sister used to pick on him. I wish she did call me Marshmallow.
Yeah, like she calls him harsh names, like Husky or whatever.
Nah, it had to be worse than that.
It had to be worse than that.
It had to be some fighting words.
And how they used to play tricks on everybody, but his sister's we know a little bit more insight. His sister's a year and a half older than him, and you know, they lived in the house, in the back end of the house. So
I'm really hoping before, I don't know how likely it's gonna be. I'm really hoping before we get to the end, or that we'll see some of Matt's family.
Matt's family is watching this just like us. I'm sorry, Matt didn't show us his family.
That's the part that still makes me so sad. It's like everybody else's family is in the whole thing, but Matt's not.
But it just
Amber's not getting the whole experience. She doesn't have to deal with any in-laws.
Not necessarily, but his sister, his siblings, you know,
yeah,
they don't know he's married. And I think when the show came out, that's probably when they found out. I don't think Matt told anybody, and I hope that's maybe one of the questions at the reunion or whatever case may be. Like if we don't see his family in the next few episodes, that Matt, how come you never tell your family? When did your family find out that you was married? Or when did your family meet Amber? And
I would be, just a side note, if I was his mom, I'd be highly upset if I found out on TV. I'd be livid.
Yeah, so.
And I didn't get to meet the little girl to try to steal your heart, or I don't know.
But I mean, think about it, none of the parents really met them not until that day. So that's when they met them. So that was one of the situations that's there to happen. So,
yeah.
So, but they good. Matt sat on the cliff. They had a nice conversation. This is the Matt I enjoyed from a couple episodes ago when he played the guitar.
He gave you back some hope.
He gave you a little bit of some hope, but see, again,
hopefully he won't build you up just to let you down.
Build me up to just let me down. I hope he doesn't build me up to let me down, and I can see them turning a corner.
Yeah.
I just hope they stay that way, and Matt rights his wrongs.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. I'm looking forward to seeing them growing some more and expanding and just getting better, and Matt staying at home.
Yeah, and
coming in and
Amber, she didn't cry this episode.
She didn't.
It's one of the few episodes that she didn't actually.
She didn't.
She didn't cry. She thought about when she was at Matt's house, but I don't think she cried.
No, she didn't.
So she didn't cry because of Matt. So that's a one up for Amber. No crying this episode. So, but let's go.
Amber.
Go Amber. Good job, Amber. Let's go to our couple, man.
This
Greg.
is my favorite.
Greg and Deonna. Man, they enjoyed the race car experience. Deonna couldn't drive a stick shift, but she didn't trust Greg enough to let him drive her around the track.
Right, but the other thing was, she said, I want to be his cheerleader.
Yeah.
And to stand on the sideline, go Greg, go Greg.
Yeah, go Greg, and cheer him on. So she did that, and she rode with a professional. So I thought they had a great experience there. And
they did.
She liked Greg because he challenged her, and Greg is doing different things that he had never done before, and she challenged him to be more exciting and more adventurous.
Yes.
And so they become a adventurous couple. And so that's one of the things that's been great for them. And when they met with Dr. Viv, she told, which was, I thought was great because she would show couples clips. And it was from past episodes. But the clip of Deonna and Greg was from this episode, from earlier.
When they were talking about their differences and how we compliment each other.
Yeah.
And answering the question, Greg straight cut Deonna off. And initially, I don't think he did it on purpose. He was just trying to explain himself some more, so he could get the answer back from her that he wanted. And Deonna was like, you just gonna cut me off?
Yeah.
You gonna keep mansplaining? You gonna keep mansplaining? And so I picked up on it anyway, and I think my husband did too. But I was like, I think after a while he's trying to be funny. He's like, you going, yeah. He kept trying to talk and try to be funny.
He should have known that he couldn't do that with her because she's starting to get upset because now she's trying to open up, but you're not giving her a chance to speak.
Right, which is what Dr. Viv said to her.
Right.
Dr. Viv let him know, yeah, you trying to be funny and you trying to explain yourself because you want the positive. You don't want her to go negative. But at the same time, what you're giving her is he doesn't want to hear what I have to say. Yeah. So they have to find a good middle ground. But all in all, I mean,
but he didn't want to. And go back to the negative. He didn't want to give the negative because Greg is one of those guys. I want to not gonna say passive aggressive, but because of his way his mother was, he explained in the last episode. He doesn't want any confrontation in his marriage. He doesn't want any argument. He doesn't want any. And they're gonna have some disagreements, but he want to be able to handle it in a way where let's keep the negatives out, and let's keep the positives in, and let's move on.
Yeah, and also I think he's trying to keep the negative out because he doesn't want her to retreat back to her 10 years of singlehood, you know, to give her any reason to not want to try to open up and try love again, try a relationship again.
But she did, though. She opened up when they went back to her house in South Carolina, childhood home, not home, but in the area. And they went and had a little picnic, and Greg, and she opened up about her boyfriend of high school into college, and that they got real mean and nasty to each other, and then she split off. And Greg asked a question. He said, what he said, well, if that didn't happen, then you wouldn't be here with me.
Right. But I want to go back to before that, though. But, you know, when he asked her a question, she had to take the time to think, and he was like, so how? And I think that was a excellent opportunity for them to communicate instead of her still just eating the strawberry. Say, you know, she says, I'm trying to, you know, she says, I'm thinking. But I think she was a little slow saying that. And he was like, excuse me. You know, I think they could have done that a little bit better.
I think that part was editing. When he said, excuse me, I think he might have burped or pooped or something when he was saying, excuse me. I don't think that he was talking about her because he could see that she was thinking a little bit and she was trying to gather her words correctly.
He didn't. She felt like he was rushing her.
Right.
And she was like, I'm going to answer. So.
But I like how they communicated. She was like, I am going to answer. She didn't get upset.
Right.
And then he stopped rushing her.
Right.
You know, because he's like, okay, you're gathering yourself. I know this is a touchy situation. You hadn't been in a relationship in 10 years. I wanted to know why. And he was asking because he doesn't want to make the same mistake the other guy did. Yeah. And I think that's what she has to learn about him is that, you know what, Greg asking me all these questions because he don't want to make the mistake that the other guy did. He wants this to be forever. Right. And I think women sometimes, when guys ask questions, and we're not straightforward, we beat around the bush and we don't come out and say what we actually mean at times, but we're asking questions just so we can get an understanding and clarification so we don't make the same mistake twice.
Right. Right. But still, they're still my favorite couple. And, Greg just,
birthday celebration.
Yes.
He set up a birthday celebration for her.
And he was like, you know, we ride in the car. And she was like, I know we're going to Topgolf. He was like, dang, she always knows. How does she know?
But she didn't know what was inside of Topgolf.
She didn't. That was so sweet. Her family was
her mom,
there.
Her dad, her sister, her best friend. Everybody was there. And Greg had coordinated with her friend.
Yeah. And it was cute because Deonna was like, the sister said, you tried to put me and Greg in contact, put us on the thread together, said, this is Greg's number. And you didn't know, I've been talking to Greg for the past week. It was like, that is so sweet.
Set up her birthday and she Topgolf. And I like Deonna because she's competitive.
Oh, yeah.
She was
like, what's that, Greg? What's that, Greg? But he didn't get offended.
No.
You know, it's all in fun, you know.
All in fun. He's trying to hit the golf ball at Topgolf. He couldn't do it. And her dad was being encouraging to Greg. And
yeah, but he was also on some Deonna stuff like, what you try a little bit harder.
But they fit in with each other. They fit in with their friends.
Did.
And so, you know, and that's the one thing I like about them. They're able to communicate. We don't see much drama with them. They know how to communicate. And so people say they're boring, but they're not a boring couple. They're learning each other over this 8-week period of time.
I think they're the epitome of what this experiment is really supposed to go like. You know? Because
he asked, Deonna would go back, Deonna asked Greg on the couch, what did you ask for? And he told her, this is what I asked for, somebody shorter than me. Mm-hmm. He said, I ain't want to climb a tree. Right. It's somebody who can challenge me a little bit, you know, somebody with of interest. And then same thing, Deonna was like, I wanted somebody who could challenge me in a good way.
Right.
And so I think the experts got this one right. They complement each other. And so where he's strong at, she's weak. And where she's weak at, he's strong. So they can come together and build this union. And like I said, I'll be surprised if they say no on decision day.
I can't imagine.
It had to go south for the next few episodes.
It would have to be
real devastating.
Earth shattering.
Yeah, because I see they connection and both of them are trying. Her walls are starting to come down.
Yes.
And he's starting to make her feel comfortable so her walls could come down. And she's starting to meet Greg's sexual needs. I'm not going to say that night. He should have got some that night for the birthday situation.
Yeah.
He should have got some loving.
He should.
You know, I'm just saying. I know a lot of you guys.
I hope she was kind. I hope she was kind.
She was kind. She ain't with
I just want to be kind.
She just wanted to be kind to Greg. So she was kind to Greg on the night.
That's a private joke.
It's private, yeah. She wanted to be kind to Greg. So hopefully they got everything together and and they continue to grow. And maybe some of them will rub on the family off on the other couples. We'll see them next week because they go on this couples retreat.
Yeah.
So this couples retreat is coming up, and we know how it worked last time.
I hope
with
it'll
AJ.
go a whole lot smoother than it did for the last season. I think it's gonna go well.
I haven't seen the preview yet, but I'm just saying, Jamie. There has not been an episode where Jamie and Elizabeth haven't had a blow up.
Yeah.
So I can just
it's gonna happen again.
I think they're gonna have a blow up at the couples retreat.
I hope not. Well, you know what? It's probably slim that it won't happen in front of people, or they might be in their room and everybody's like, "Listen at them."
Yeah, I just can't see it. So, and like I said, I haven't seen the previews as we record this. I have not seen the previews, so I hopefully they don't have a blow up, but the chances are very slim.
Very slim.
Very, very slim. But I enjoyed episode 11. It was a little mellow, really not too much drama. But you know, we saw Jamie
from the usual suspects
had it blow up. They just need much help. They do.
Oh my gosh.
They do, and hopefully they get the help they need. They've been toxic to each other.
Yes, Dr. Viv pointed out that they've been toxic, and I'm gonna say this again. I really want to know how much mental health investigation type of stuff they go into with these participants, because both of them, oh my gosh, you
got one who's passive aggressive, one who's very emotionally
labile.
So it is very that how, you know, when they hide they on, when they off they off, and you can't be in a house where you walk around eggshells.
Right.
And it seemed like they're walking on eggshells. He doesn't know, from his standpoint, from Minister, he don't know what to say. He don't know how to say it. If I say this, she might go off. If I don't say this, she might go off. And so he's just like bumping.
Yeah. So we look forward to more fireworks from Beth and Jamie.
And we look forward to the next
smooth sailing for Deonna and Greg. They're my favorites.
And we look forward to new episodes. Make sure you please leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification. We comment. If you leave a comment, we'll definitely hit you back. We'll definitely talk to you. We love the engagement, so please engage with us. We'll share our thoughts. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification. Share with a friend and tell a friend about the Jack and Glenn channel. As always, man, we enjoy this and continue to talk with us and be with us.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. See you next week. Bye.